There's times where I've got up at 3 in the morning to go for a pee, and it's like, just like, yeah, flick through my phone, whatever, just because I'm bored.
Off to the gym.
Chris Palmer's just done a 6-mile walk. Like, fucking hell, what are you doing? It's 3 in the morning. That's like it seems like a normal average day for the three of you, really. I mean, yourself, Tristan, and Owen, if he comes back from work. What is it that just keeps you going, like keeps you focused on just grafting all the time? If you could bottle it, mate, you could sell it for a fortune, trust me.
Yeah, I mean, Tristan, I need to bring you in a bit, mate, because you're the one sort of taking over now. Apparently, so I keep getting fucking told by these two, is I'm obsolete now. So they keep trying to sort of palm me off. It's like, right, yeah, you just go and sit over there, Dad. We'll do the rest. You're not needed. So,
surely that's a good thing. You put your feet up for once.
Yeah, but it's that thing, isn't it? It's like when I thought about retiring. I was going to retire this year because I was turning 50. And I thought, but it's like, I don't think I could. And now the boys are trying to sort of palm me off.
Not ready to pass the baton on yet.
Yeah, not yet. So come on, Tris. Why do you work so hard?
I don't know, really. It's kind of been built in you, isn't it? For me, I guess sometimes you just don't know anything different. So for me, it's just every day at life. It's the same as waking up. It's just what I do. I don't, I enjoy what I do, so I don't really think of it as work. So I guess also is if you then know what you want out of life, what you want in life, that then gives you the reason to do it. I wouldn't, I'm very fortunate with what I can do and what I've done and like hobbies and stuff like that. I'm lucky to be able to do that. But I guess also without putting in the hard work, I wouldn't be doing it. So for me, that's
yes.
Sorry, Karen.
No, sorry. I was going to ask, what aspect of the business then do you kind of look after? Because I know obviously Owen is off kind of, he has his own construction company, but what exactly is your role kind of in the business now with the coffee into things?
Yeah, so about so when I left school, all I wanted to do was build motorcycles. That's all I was interested in. From the age of 13, I learned how to weld, and then just taught myself and started building little bikes and stuff. And then, when I left school, I just started working for him. I remember just sweeping the floors, labelling, just crap, basically.
Tell me how much you got paid, because this will be a child labour thing.
I think my first wages worked out about 50p an hour.
Oh my God.
That was my first.
Chris, for fuck's sake.
We got you up to £1.80 when you were 19.
Well, I remember when my pay rise went up to, I got £200 in a month, and I was quite happy with that. But what that then taught me was you had to make money other ways, legally, just one. And so I started. So a friend of mine, his dad was selling a motorbike, and he was selling it for 50 quid. And I was and it's 50 quid. So for me back then it was a lot of money. I was like, should I just buy it? So I bought it. I turned that 50 quid into, I think that's I stripped it down, sold it for parts, and I made about 750 quid out of it.
Jesus.
So after that is what it taught me. In one day, I earned more than I earned in a month.
Yeah.
And that really it's from a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that was the principle.
I've seen that. Not read it, but I've seen.
So it's very interesting. It's about just really if you're just reliant on if you're earning good money, you don't ever need to think about looking elsewhere. So for me, and the way he brought me and Owen up was basically turn us into slaves, and we had to find the right way.
Yeah. So as Tristan said, the principle of Rich Dad Poor Dad was, and I brought them up to Graft from a really early age. I mean, Owen tells a story that I forget what he wanted, and I sent him out into the garden in the rain. He could have only been about 6, digging holes. And I was sat inside hitting the wall, but he was outside. You remember the little kids thing where it's like an all-in-one hood thing? And he's like knocking on the window, Dad, done another one. Go on, another one over there then, please. And then I made him fill them all back in again. And it was the principle, you want something, you earn it. I'm not buying it for you. That was always the principle. But so I always brought them both up to Graft. But we read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which was recommended to me by a really close friend of mine, Matt Story, who's a very successful guy as well. And the gist of it was not swapping your time for money. because, you know, whatever job you've got, there's only so many hours in a day. You're going to swap the money, you know, and there's only so much you can do. It was all about trying to understand assets, portfolio income, and then passive income. So one of the things that made me realise very early on is, rather than paying them a good wage, which we could have done, being his family, you want to look after your kids, but it was like, actually, that's not the right thing to do, because if he's got decent money and we could have paid him decent money, could have gone out and bought a nice car and everything else, what's that teaching him? It's not teaching him to look anywhere else outside our little envelope. So the idea was, and genuinely, I think we worked out once, he was paid £1.80 an hour, and we only increased his wages to what I call a proper wage, I reckon 2 years ago, because the point was, if you want to earn money, and we will support you and we will help you, but you need to be the one to start it. And that was where you then, you know, run these little businesses, and he said with the cars, but then start his own rental company.
Yeah, so like for me,
is that a Fresh to Go?
No, so that's Tristan James. So he does the rental machines. So in BSB now, that's now Tristan. So Tristan's taken over that whole thing, and locally rents machines out to different people.
Yeah, so yeah, it started from doing the bikes, and I was very lucky enough. So he just mentioned Matt, and on my 18th birthday, Matt, I met him at a hotel cafe thing, or like the bar, and we sat down, and he went through like my business plan and, you know, all that blah blah, and what I was doing, how I was making the money, and how I was selling it on eBay and stuff like that. And then, as when I was 16, I bought my first Porsche, and that's where I really learned what a barn find was.
Yeah, we learned the hard way what a barn find means when it turned up on the train. It's like, didn't look like that in the picture, did it?
Yeah, because I actually bought that while I was in Ireland for the Northwest. I bought on eBay. There was two being sold. One had all the logbook, all history, and then the one I stupidly went for had nothing, said it needed a fuel pump and it needed a lot more than that. But then what I ended up doing was, so after doing the bikes, I signed up this auction company, and I found there was a 924S up for sale, and I bought it for like 400 quid, and I wanted just to get the interior, I wanted to get the parts and stuff to finish my one. So I did all that, and then when lockdown started, I really wanted to buy a Boxster, and I really wanted to get the new shape. But what I decided was if I went back a car, so what did I buy, 99 Boxster, so I could then make a jump and go to like a Ferrari or something like that. What I did was I was like, well, how do I buy the car without having to actually pay for it? So what I did was,
you can't steal it.
And I can't
steal
it.
And
you've got to be clever with things like that. So what I did was I got all the parts left of the car, and I spent literally a day just cleaning everything up. It was just a Sunday, cleaning all the parts up. I sold all the parts, and that literally paid for the Boxster and paid for me to get fully serviced and everything when I got it back. So so the car basically cost me nothing. All I had to do was put a little bit of hard work into it.
So you literally had your first Porsche at 16, your Boxster
second one was 18, and then I bought the Ferrari at 21. And then, but yeah, so when I was 18 or something like that, I set up the rentals, and what I started doing was getting old crappy machines.
Don't say that. Dee was your first customer.
old machines, stripping them down, and then making them like new again. So literally, they could be like the crappiest looking machines, and I'd just make them look brand new, you know. And I'd spend literally my nights. So spending my days working for him, doing whatever it was, and then I would spend my nights actually doing it.
£2 an hour working for me.
And then I remember, I was thinking about this the other day actually. I remember when I was like, right, if I could just get 10 machines out there, I'll be happy. And that's all I want, just 10 machines. And then you get to 10 machines and think, if I could do another 10 machines, I'm going to be happy. And then you get to 20 machines and you're never happy. Yeah. It's like, right.
How many have you got out there now?
To be honest, I kind of lost count.
Between 75
yeah, it's one of them where you just keep moving forward, and then you're looking down other avenues as well. So me and Owen, we're now bought the house, so we're now doing the house as well. So it's just
watching the progress on that. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes, I just Owen's labourer basically. I earn points, and I then go and do. I'm his little monkey. Yeah. So yeah, no, but it's really interesting learning, you know, doing it, and it's hard work, and it's a lot of hours, and Owen and his lads are doing really well there, making a lot of progress. So we just had the ceilings all plastered, That happened, I think that was this week. So yeah, that's going really well.
And that, funny enough, is a lad called Conor. Do you remember Conor, our boxer?
Yeah, the boxer. Yeah, so he was plastering it.
Yeah, so he was doing it. So
yeah.
if you remember Conor, yeah, our boxer. So again, we've stuck with him. He's another sort of lovely lad. So,
Conor Wright, isn't it?
Sorry,
Conor Wright.
That's it. Yeah. So he's our plaster now.
Yeah, so he's really good. He's done a really good job at that. So yeah, that's really what I've been doing there now. And also, it's just about, because when I first started, I wasn't then selling the products and stuff. So now it's like I do all the products as well. So basically everything that the coffee machine needs, I do. Yeah. Then when I rented a few vending machines, and now I've just moved on to, before I just do bean to cups, and now I'm launching and doing the traditional side, so the proper barista style machine. So again, now trying to find a new side to it. So yeah, no, that keeps me busy. It's a lot of work, and
I think really with both boys was try to not just inspire them, but as I said, my thing was to teach them good, solid principles, and to work up, because it seems to be, and I'm not knocking anyone, but it's like it's an art that's no longer there anymore. But we get it when people come in and everyone wants this and they want that, and they all got their hand out. It's like, hold on, I want you to fucking graph first. You graph.
They want the title, but don't want the work.
Yeah, and it's it's 5 o'clock. I've got to go. It's like, no, the job ain't finished yet, and you've had 4 lunch breaks. So it's and I know, and I said they've got some great friends. But what I tried to teach the boys is I got them to start writing their goals down every year. And they've been doing that since they're about 8 years old. And I've still got a couple. I found one the other day. And it was like, one of them said, buy more Lego. It was all about every year you write your goals for that following year. And as your goals get bigger, obviously, you break it up, don't you, to, well, I've got to do these 3 things to achieve that. So you get more goals. And I made them very goal orientated from an early age, realised I had to graph for everything, which is why it was always, we didn't really pay them much, because that whole thing is, if you get paid X amount, you will spend up to X amount each month. And then you'll never look for this other stuff. But again, going back to the people we met, I mean, John Thorns used to spend, Cool's Milk, John, he used to spend time with Tristan going through business plans. You saw him not so long ago. And we've met other people off the back of John and off the back of Matt. So I think a lot of it, it might sound like child labour, but when I was younger and I wasn't bright enough, I wasn't born into a family that my mum and dad worked really hard and had jobs. So I never knew anyone that had their own businesses. So I kind of always wanted to do it, was too scared to leave a good job and go and do it. But with the boys, it was about teaching them that every spare pound you've got, you want to try and make that into £2. And then that £2 and £3 and so on. And even though, and it's not that money's everything by any means, it's not all about material things, but if you can look after yourself and you can build these things, but then always remember where you've come from and help other people at the same time. And wherever you can help. I mean, when we started doing the homeless stuff, I mean, you were 16 then, traveling. I think you travelled on your scooter in a Father Christmas outfit that day, because we were going out doing stuff at Christmas with the homeless. So it was always about just remember, keep your feet on the ground, and remember to, as you're trying to do well, just remember people perhaps, might fall by the wayside, might be a problem they're going through, it might be, but do what you can to make sure you're giving something back.
Yeah, because I guess for me as well is I wasn't really, I still don't consider being one, but I wasn't really an entrepreneur when I was younger. It's always Owen. Owen was the Dell boy. Owen was the one.
Oh, he's the brains of
the outfit, isn't he? He's the one that always was. And I think about it sometimes, and I think that I'm fortunate because I've been guided and I've been pushed, and I've got so many people to sort of not lean on, but that have really showed me the direction. But it's always been Owen's a natural one. I reckon if it wasn't for my dad, I probably would have gone my own way, but in later years. I reckon it'll probably be in my 30s by the time I would have thought, actually, let's start doing something. Whereas Owen's always been literally Del boy selling sweets at school.
Yeah.
And
he had a bloody good business. He had a really good, he was like a legal drug dealer. So
he would drop them off their bags on the bus. I had to be his mule sometimes and take all the stuff in for him.
Because the school realised what he was up to, and they tried shutting him down. Was really, school should be taking these kids and trying to help them in business.
He would pay them £5 a day
if they hit target.
But if they hit target, they got an extra £2 or something like that.
Wow.
He would drop them off their bags. They had to then go sell the stuff and bring it back to him so he'd fit it back up.
It's kind of lucky he didn't become a drug dealer, because he was literally.
It was.
Everyone in his school had diabetes.
They all had a wallet, and in each wallet had enough money for change and stuff. Yeah. And he counted the money when he got it back. But he was a smart one, and still is.
Yeah, and he's the only person we know that actually does algebra, because he had to do it for he's a qualified electrician as well. And so basically our old office, Owen took over and rebuilt and made it his workshop originally before we got this place. And I remember going in there like you do. I'd gone in there and it got this board and it had all this, in my view, gibberish on it. Y3 add Y something equals this. Well, me with my mentality, I wiped it all off and just drew a massive picture of boobs. Turned out that was ready for his exam.
Oh my God!
That was all algebra, something to do with electrical stuff, and it was like, oh, sorry, you did take a picture before I did that. It was like, no, Dad, I needed that. It's like,
oh my God.
So Owen's definitely. Owen's one of these people that can watch it on YouTube or read something, and he doesn't just regurgitate, he gets it and he understands it. Whereas me and Tristan are the two thick twins, aren't we, really?
Yeah.
And we're sort of like, what do you say again? What does that do?
Anything like writing or anything like that, reading. I'd say, I can read just, but I find that, like, for instance, doing like exams and stuff is, if I'm reading a sentence, I add words into it, and I don't even know where the words came from.
No, I'm the same.
I literally I add actual words into the sentence that aren't even there, and don't know how I do it. So I do struggle with things like that. But I find practical is I can pretty much, that's easy for me. But then also pros and cons on like me and Owen is I think Owen's more of a let's sit down and let's actually work out a plan. Whereas if I get an idea, I'm just full 200 miles per hour. And
you take after your dad then.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There's no thinking, and it does work. There's pros and cons for both, because sometimes you do it, and it's like, oh, I cut it a bit too short. My bad. Or sometimes you need to be that way so you can just get things done.
But just quickly on that, to give you an example of how, and I've always said to the term, they've got to stick together like a synergy, because they bring, working together, they work so well. And for instance, I remember we had what was my dad's cement mixer, which had been going for ages. And like, you with your dad, it's like, when my dad died, it's like, we're not getting rid of that cement mixer. Yeah. We're keeping it. This cement mixer didn't just go around, but it wobbled around and like the rest of it. And Owen, we were starting a job, and Owen was like, right, I'm going to have to rent a cement mixer because I don't want to get halfway through and this stops working. And he comes up with all these, that might happen, this might happen. I'm like, fuck all that. And so Tristan, fix the cement mixer. And Tristan went and got
a couple of minutes.
We got a lump of wood and jammed it into the back of his barrel, so it fixed it and just went round. Oh. That's still going now. That was 5 years ago. Whereas Owen would have stopped the job because in his mind he hasn't got the right tools.
Yeah.
That's how. So whereas Owen, phenomenally clever Owen, but and I was saying this when we were renovating the houses, is there's been times where it's like, Tristan, we can't, as in both boys, we can't stop what we're doing now to go and get the right thing. What have we got in amongst our stuff? That's where Tristan's just phenomenal. He will look at what we got and he'll make something to do the job. Now, there's certain jobs where that won't work, depending on what you're doing. But generally speaking, and that's what he's learned from the coffee machines. If you've got a coffee machine hospitality, that machine needs to work. You might not have the right part, but you need to keep that going till the end of the day. Everyone's happy, and then we'll get it sorted properly.
I guess for me as well, that's where I think I prefer when you've got, I don't know, let's say you've got to install a machine or whatever, and you've got like 3 weeks. It's just like
working under pressure. That's what we.
If you got, I need it like 3 days. Oh, that's where I'm really good. I make it happen. I'll do
thrive under sort of pressure nearly.
And that's where I find it more enjoyable. I find it, but that's where I really work well. It's like at the moment, so I'm doing trying to do some exams and stuff at the moment, and literally doing all the writing I just can't do. I really can't do it. But if I'm actually physically doing it, I understand everything. I understand it. I get it. I can explain to them how you've got to do it. But when I'm reading questions, I don't know, words like that long, and I don't understand what that word means. If it's not simple, I don't know. So I get everyone's different. So yeah, everyone's different, but with me and Owen especially is that's where we work so well, is because we are opposites in a way, but for a good thing.
You need that though,
Yeah.
because if everyone had the same outlook, then nothing would ever get done,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you wouldn't be able to, relate to each other. I think that kind of leads us on to the next thing we want to talk about, because we also see, like, on your social media and from all your stories,